My name is Shawn Shafner and I'm a teaching artist, and this is Literacy Through Art with Arts for All. In this video series, we are diving into poetry. This is video 4 of 5, the poetry of Alexander Posey. Video 4.
Artists express their feelings.
At Arts for All, we are all artists. Artists are people who express their feelings and ideas. So, artist, how are you feeling today? Sometimes it's helpful to check in and notice how we're breathing. I like to put a hand on my heart. Sometimes I close my eyes. We can take a breath together.
In, out.
Do you have a word for the feeling in your heart? Do you remember our Poet's Call? A poet like me writes poetry. Look, I wrote a poem. If a poet like you wanted to write some poetry right now, you might write a poem about why you're feeling this way. Tell us the story of what's happened to bring this feeling on, or what you want to do now that you have this feeling. If you want to write that poem or any other, pause the video now. Then, let's meet the poetry of Alexander Posey.
Let's meet a poet.
I want to introduce you to this poet. Alexander Posey. His full name was Alexander Lawrence Posey, and he was born on August 3rd, 1873. He was the oldest kid in a family with 12 children. He was born in the Creek Nation of American Indians. He grew up speaking Muskogee, the language of his people, but also learned English. Alexander Posey was very inspired by other American writers, and he was proud of his people. He edited the Eufaula Indian Journal, the first Native American daily newspaper. He was also a politician who tried to get the United States government to make a state called Sequoia that would be controlled by Native Americans like himself. He died on May 27th, 1908. Let's hear a poem by Alexander Posey now, called Mother and Baby. You can read along if you like, or close your eyes and just listen. Mother and Baby by Alexander Posey. Tired at length of crying, laughing, cooing, sighing, the baby lies so quiet and still, scarce breathing in his sleep. The mother watches, half inclined, to hide her face and weep. Beautiful. The one we're going to learn together was written for his son on his first birthday.
Let's learn a poem.
It's called Tuyahola on his first birthday. This is him, just a few years older than when this poem was written. You can go back and hear the poem 3 times. The first time, close your eyes and just listen to the poem. The second time, read along with your eyes while you listen to the poem. And the third time, you can read along with me, Tuyahola on his first birthday by Alexander Posey. The sky has put her bluest garment on and gently brushed the snowy clouds away. The robin trills a sweeter melody because you are just 1 year old today. The wind remembers in his sweet refrains, away, away up in the tossing trees, that you came in the world a year ago, and the earth is filled with pleasant harmonies. And all things seem to say, just 1 year old today. What do you notice about this poem? One way we can investigate is with our actor's tools. Let's get our actor's tools warmed up.
Let's warm up our actor's tools.
This will be a short warm-up, but you can always do a longer body warm-up in video 2 of the actor's tools and a voice warm-up in video 3 of the actor's tools. Now please take care of yourself and don't do anything that doesn't feel good. I'm standing, but you can also do this sitting and just adjust as you need to. First I'll show, then you do with me. You'll see the letter sound there. Here we go. P, 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 p. Together. P, 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 p. Good. B, 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 b. Do it with me. B, 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 b. Good. Now I'm just going to keep going. I'll do the first 4, and then you join in for the second 4. Here we go. d, 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 d. G, 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 g. All right, great. We warmed up all the parts of our mouths, from our lips all the way to the back of our tongue. Feel free to try more sounds if you need more of a warm-up, and then let's get to work expressing our poem.
Let's express our poem.
There's our poem again. You can pause now and reread it if you like. When we express or perform a poem, we'll first tell our audience the title and the author. So let's try saying the title and the author with a neutral voice and body, like this. To Yahola on His First Birthday by Alexander Posey. Do you want to try by yourself? Great. Let's go through our poem line by line, and at the end of each stanza, each section, we'll go back and rehearse. Then, at the very end, we'll do the whole thing from the title and the author to the end. Remember, you can always pause the video if you want more time. The sky has put her bluest garment on. Now, the word garment means clothes. So, what are a few gestures that might show the sky is putting her bluest clothes on? Maybe we could show, like, putting on a shirt. Maybe we are the big open sky and we're showing off our beautiful blue clothes from arm to arm or from head to toe. Let's try one of these choices now. The sky has put her bluest garment on. We can always revise later. And gently brushed the snowy clouds away. What are a few gestures that might show and gently brushed the snowy clouds away? Well, maybe we could brush the clouds with our fingertips, or with one hand like we're waving away a fly, or we could sweep it away. Let's try one of these now. And gently brushed the snowy clouds away. The robin trills a sweeter melody. Now, the robin is a bird that has a red belly, and a trill is like a or a ah. So, the robin sings a sweet melody or song. What are a few gestures that might show the robin trills a sweeter melody? Maybe we could be the robin trilling, or the person who's hearing and enjoying the song. Let's try one of these now. The robin trills a sweeter melody. What are a few gestures that might show because you are just 1 year old today? Well, we could point to the person that we're talking to, show the number 1, or maybe show that we're lifting them up to celebrate them. Let's try one of these now. Because you are just 1 year old today. Now let's review the whole first stanza. Curtain up. The sky has put her bluest garment on, and gently brushed the snowy clouds away. The robin trills a sweeter melody, because you are just 1 year old today. Curtain down. Awesome! Let's get into our second stanza. I think we should do these next 2 lines together because they're part of one thought or idea. The wind remembers in his sweet refrains, away, away up in the tossing trees. Now, a refrain is a song or a phrase that you say often. So the wind remembers and is blowing a sweet refrain about Yahola's birthday. And the wind is away, away up in the trees. So now let's take it line by line. What are a few gestures that might show the wind remembers in his sweet refrains? Imagine what you would be like if you were the wind. Maybe we can show that with our voice. I imagine the wind blowing around and around. Maybe we could show remembering. Let's try something now. The wind remembers in his sweet refrains. Okay. Away, away up in the tossing trees. Like tossing a ball. A ball is tossed back and forth. So what are a few gestures that might show away, away up in the tossing trees? Maybe we could show the branches tossing back and forth. Use our hands to show the branches, or just look up. Let's try it. Away, away up in the tossing trees. Let's keep going. What are a few gestures that might show that you came in the world a year ago? I imagine that I'm Yahola's dad and I'm filled with love for Yahola. And when my heart feels that, I want to touch his face or give him a hug. Let's try something like that now. That you came in the world a year ago. Cool. And Earth is filled with pleasant harmonies. Pleasant harmonies are when people sing together on different notes and all of the notes sound really good or pleasant together. What are a few gestures that might show and Earth is filled with pleasant harmonies? We could show how the Earth is filled, or put our hands down like we're touching the Earth, or act like we can hear the beautiful music. Let's try one now. And Earth is filled with pleasant harmonies. Okay, now let's review the whole second stanza. Curtain up. The wind remembers in his sweet refrains, away, away, up in the tossing trees, that you came in the world a year ago, and Earth is filled with pleasant harmonies. Curtain down. Great job! Let's review the last stanza. Since it's only 2 lines, sometimes it's called a couplet. Couple, like two, a couplet. And all things seem to say, well, what are a few gestures that might show and all things seem to say? Maybe we could look at or point to all the things, or put our hands out to show all the things. Let's try one now. And all things seem to say. Good. What are a few gestures that might show just 1 year old today? We could show the number 1. We could pick Yahola up and hug him, pat him on the head, or hold the baby. Let's try one now. Just 1 year old today. Okay, now let's review this final couplet. Curtain up. And all things seem to say, just 1 year old today. Curtain down. Great. All right, pause the video if you want to keep revising. Then let's go all the way back to the beginning and do the whole thing, starting with the title and the author. Pause the video now and do it by yourself, or keep watching and we'll do it together. Ready? Curtain up. To Yahola on his first birthday by Alexander Posey. The sky has put her bluest garment on and gently brushed the snowy clouds away. The robin trills a sweeter melody because you are just 1 year old today. The wind remembers in his sweet refrains, away, away up in the tossing trees, that you came in the world a year ago, and Earth is filled with pleasant harmonies, and all things seem to say, just 1 year old today. Curtain down. Great job!
Try this at home.
Today we learned all about the poet Alexander Posey, heard some of his poetry, and performed one poem together. Poet's Call! A poet like me writes poetry. Look, I wrote a poem. You are a very creative poet, and you can write poetry. Maybe you could write a poem now inspired by the one we read. Is there a special day or person you might write a poem about? Or someone you could gift a poem to? You could write a poem about what it was like to be 1 year old, or what you would wish for a kid that age.
Time to say goodbye.
Thanks so much for joining me. Let's give ourselves some snaps.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, nice work.
Wishing you a great day and see you soon. From all of us at Arts for All.
See you later.
Woohoo,
It was really
yay.
fun.
I really
Thanks for
enjoyed
coming.
that.
Thanks.